Monday is not a fun day, and Tuesday another blues day. Wednesday's getting better, Thursday doesn't matter, and Friday is the last day. And then it's W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend.
It's Wednesday getting better, y'all. Shit, what? Hey, welcome everybody. It's a couple of minutes past 11 o'clock on Saturday. Do you know what time it is? It is time for the Club with Lucas here on RCE 106.9 FM and RCE.cat and all that good stations and all that good stuff and all the links at the Club with Lucas, and we'll get to all that in a minute, but thank God I'm not alone today, and thank you everybody for joining out. Shout out to everybody, especially Lady Katrina right now. Thank you so much for the hookup and for the beauty of yesterday. That was just a nice reverie after a very busy week. And thankfully, somebody else is continuing the reverie with me today because, behold, in the studio today is none other than fave and fan of this boy right here. Thank you so much, Nikol Kollars, for being here today. Aww. Actress, playwright, musician extraordinaire, and producer in her own right.
And your friend.
Yeah, and sister from another mister. Thank you for saying that, because we've been through some ish since right before the pandemic, is right when we started forming a solid bond in this heart, and then huaketa. So thank you for these years.
If seeing you and catching up with you means doing it live on the radio, then so be it.
I don't know what to say right now.
I'm
verklempt as we do. But seriously, Mamacita, thank you for doing this.
My
this
pleasure.
Week has been real, everybody. We've got so much to get to, and I'm going to scare Lady Ann right here because we've got so much to get to. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for being here. Now, also, we're going to talk about just in a little while about something that's a little bit of reworking and stuff that you're working on in reference to, well, always acting stuff, of course, but also one woman sold out show that she's performed all over the city and other places, as well as the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, called Fickle Eulogy. You can also follow that and find that at Instagram and where all good platforms are. But we'll get to that in a little bit, as well as a political and, if you don't mind me saying, bitch fest, gab fest. I mean, what would Jesus do, you guys? But also, I want you to follow me, my beautiful people, at the Club with Lucas on IG. You can also get some of the good stuff still on FB, yes, at English Radio BCN. And listen up, children. I've got a new pet pod project that I'm launching with my boy Rob Gerard and the Blessing of the Democrats Abroad. It's called The Way Works Now, and it is available on YouTube at The Way Ish Works Now, because, you know, censors on YouTube and all that stuff. But ISH. But The Way Ish Works Now, it does come out eventually as The Way Shit Works Now. And The Way Shit Works Now podcast at IG. We're also launching this weekend on Blue Sky, my beautiful children. And in fact, in just a few hours, I'm going to be recording with a U.S. Democrat fundraiser extraordinaire. He truly is. I mean, we're talking tens of millions this brother has raised. But he's also a political maestro pundit that you've seen on MSNBC and CNN. His name is Charles Gaba, and he is definitely going to be helping us out. So mad shout out to him, as well as my beautiful brother Rob and his beautiful wife. Listen, we'll keep you abreast of that. Remember, you can catch the jams live as well at 106.9 FM here in the beautiful state of Catalonia in Spain and rce.cat wherever you are. And also, you can watch us with your peepholes at YouTube at 1069 FM. No, RCE 1069 FM at YouTube. In fact, there's so much to get to, so let's just throw on a little bit of music, and then we'll be right back. Now, somebody that we really love, and we're going to be repping a lot of local talent here in BC and Madrid. Lady Ana Natsian. We actually featured her about a year ago when she was just releasing her first set of songs, a batch of songs in an EP. And she has now moved to Madrid and is getting ready to release her first record. Now, she is from Ukraine. She is an extraordinary woman. It's as if Bjork and Joan Armatrading and Missing Persons all had a weird orgy and produced somebody. This woman who sings in all manner of languages would be this. And this is her new single with La Maga as well, one of the rappers out of Madrid. Ana Natsian, La Maga. This is just a beautiful song. It's called Blood. Check it out, folks. Remember, you can only catch this kind of exclusive stuff here. And also, look it up. Ana Natsian, that's spelled Ndazion, as in Zion, because we are marching to it, bitch, okay? But also, you can catch Ana Natsian on Instagram because she's going to be performing here live the weekend after this one. All right, folks, Blood. We'll be right back.
Blood on their hands and every heart. It's the same whether you want it or not. Show me yours and I'll show you my blood. Blood. Algo dentro hay no es normal, si lo contengo explotará. No quiero creer que dolerá, busco saber qué hay más allá. Sacar la máscara, ver la verdad, construyendo puentes por el lateral, trayendo data, huyendo del mal. Si quitan el arte no me late más. Roja tu sangre, la mía igual. Bombea ritmo latirán. Somos la vida que no derriba, nuestra energía aquí quedará. Pisando fuerte voy a acelerar, con valentía sin mirar atrás. Las estrellas aquí han de caminar, buscándome te encontré llegando. Blood on their hands and every heart. It's the same whether you want it or not. Show me yours and I'll show you my blood. Blood, blood on their hands and every heart. It's the same whether you want it or not. Show me yours and I'll show you my blood. Blood. Y en las venas lleva
Say hi to
Hey,
Sam.
everybody. Hey, Sam. And hi, everybody else. That is Anna Natsian with La Maga. And this is also your boy Lucas. It is 11:11:11 right now on the clock as I speak. Now, one thing we love to do is always talk about news that are affecting usually the Five Eye countries, the English-speaking countries, because this is what we deal with. So shout out to all our immigrants, refugees from the U.S., and our beautiful expat community, and to everyone internationally, because the shit is truly real these days. Let's talk about Trump's Middle East disaster with the Qataris and that effing plane. Because I'm sure by now everybody's heard of this. Lady Nico, I'm going to presume you've heard of this plane.
Oh, right. The bribing plane?
What do you mean bribes? The United States government would never receive bribes because, after all, we do have an emoluments clause. Hello! Right at the top of the articles. And that emoluments clause basically states, in modern terminology, that you cannot receive anything because we are not a kingdom of any sorts. You cannot receive anything from any head of state or anything of that nature, especially, and I quote, if it's over $19.99, it has to be turned over, so maybe they can buy you a lunch or some shit. I don't know.
Laws do not apply to Trump. So what's the question?
That's the fearful part for me. Because here's the thing. I want everybody to imagine, just put your mind to it, that Zelensky or someone of that ilk, let's say Macron, Trump's favorite handshaking buddy, gave the United States, gave Joe Biden or Barack Obama, for heaven's sake, a $500 million luxury plane, the most expensive ever created, apparently. And he turns around and said, this is not for me. This is for the Department of Defense. And my AG, Lady Pamela Bondi of Florida, is looking into the legality of this. Now, I want everybody to know this, because before Pamela Bondi became the Attorney General, she was also doing some side work for Trump. And before that, she was also doing some side work as a private lobbyist for a very specific country. To the tune of $115,000 a month, this country was paying her. And that country, I tell you, was Qatar.
Qatar.
So the same government that's giving him, and he took it, he took this mother effing $500 million plane, is the same government that was paying her $115,000 a month to be a private interest lobbyist for them. So she's going to look into that, though. So we're going to get to the bottom of this. Meanwhile, they're stating that it's going to take up to 2+ years and hundreds of millions of dollars to revamp that plane to make it Air Force One ready and, make sure it's debugged. Which will come out to actually more than it would have cost to just refurbish and, update Air Force One as it is. That's just another way of how the United States government these days is saving money. What? But I'm lying, oh my God, because every month since January, the United States government has spent more than the Biden and Harris administration spent the years before. Every month. Now, of course, naysayers on the right will say, but it's more expensive now than it was in 24 and 23. And to that I say, who are we going to blame for that? Because now we know that they not only have some of the money, about $8 trillion has come back into it, but that has nothing to do with the assessment of what we lost between March and April and May in the stock market, not to mention the faith that people don't have in our economy in the United States right now. Now, that's a whole other thing, because as I speak, the president of the country that Nicole and I were born in has returned from his superstar summer travels in Qatar, where it was really, really hot, actually, and all over the Middle East. He has returned with the U.S. proposal to take control of the Gaza Strip. That's one of the agreements that's going on. He's going to take control of the Gaza Strip, and I'm presuming they will want to break ground on that resort, that Trump
He's
resort.
planning it already. They already have blueprints and everything, I'm sure.
Exactly. Did you see the AI produced video for it? You can watch it on YouTube. It'll make you wet down there. This is just another way of how these things play into a lot of things, because I want to take it back to a little bit of history, because I just love history, because that's what I am, children. I'm history. Yes, I'm a legend. What?
Try
You
my
know what I
new
mean? I'm a historian
fragrance.
and a history
History.
tutor. But I would like people to remember who the sponsor of Barca was when the Ramblas attack happened.
Qatar.
Exactly. Qatar Airways, which of course belongs to the Dominion of Qatar and the royal family there. And days, okay, not months and years later, days after, they changed it to, I believe it was Rakuten, and now it's Spotify, Camp No, Spotify, Camp No.
Meanwhile, as artists on Spotify, we're not getting much money from the plays. So just so
No,
you know.
Just so you know, we're talking 0.001 cents on it's insanity. So thank you, Camp No. But because of that, I would also like people to know the patrons who were supporting that league and support that league. For years, that money was funneled to eventually kill Catalans here. Okay, and I would like to note that. So blood was on your hands too. And it all funnels back because not only is Qatar giving this mother effa that plane, but on top of that, my children of the corn, they are also the state-sponsored supporters of this headquarters of Hezbollah and Hamas, who apparently we're against because we keep funding the genocide that's happening in Israel. And as someone who actually has Spanish Jew blood, I'm going to have to say that. And so Netanyahu and his government can go lick it. But this is fact that needs to be recognized as well. And so here at the Club with Lucas, we're always going to say that. This also goes in line. Before he left to Qatar, he met the new leader of Syria, who I looked up, and now his name escapes me. But this man is still on the FBI's most wanted list for millions of dollars. And there you can look it up and see Donald Bloody Drumpf there standing with a photo op with his orange smile, with a man who is now the new leader of Syria. And obviously, anybody's going to be better than Assad, so whatever. Assad's hiding in Russia, by the way, right now. If you didn't know, now you know, to quote Biggie. And
They made a deal.
they made a deal because he's going to put a Trump Tower in Damascus.
Isn't that a conflict of interest, though?
What do you
Because
think?
he's in great support. America supports Israel,
This
but
is-
Israel and Syria are not.
And I wonder how Netanyahu's feeling. Oh, by the way, it's Eurovision if you like that ish.
Oh. Did you say Zero Vision?
Did I say Zero Vision?
Zero Vision.
Okay, I meant Eurovision.
Was
but
that a slip?
Euro. Is that just another slap, guys? And then last thing, of course, what does that imply? Everything you just said, everything I just said and what you just attested to, what does that imply? You know, when the country itself has now sided with state sponsors of terror that we're apparently against, I wonder how MAGA feels about the fact that we don't want Islamic terrorists taking over, and he is making deals with now. They, of course, are going to say, and this is what the evangelicals are saying right now, this $500 million plane is a gift and a testament to how the Lord is blessing him. Paula White, on your fourth marriage, is it? And this kind of and they come into the Oval Office and lay hands on this motherfucker. Sorry, yeah, I said it. And as someone who was raised completely Judeo-evangelical, and we practice the high holy faith of Christianity and Judaism in my background, there's some cray going on and a whole lot of semen being spread around.
Oh.
But I just had to throw that out there because we're going to jump into something else before I get into... Look it up, children, if you don't know how much the Republican Party has to pay in secret for all of the page boys and girls that they diddle. Look it up. Even Marjorie Taylor effing Greene is spurting lasers, space lasers from her eyes. I won't say what she said. All right, children of the corn. This is something that my beautiful queen here, thank you for being here and for letting me vent.
Thanks.
It's been a couple of weeks and I hadn't vented, loves. But you chose Razzie Bailey's classic. I mean, it's a underground classic for some of us, but I hate. And I don't even like to say the word H8, but why did you choose this one?
I chose this song because I just heard it recently because a friend of mine said listen to it, and it just came up, and of course, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful song, and it's much needed.
Now, I would like to say that I don't want to say like everything that I spew forth from my mouth comes out of righteous indignation and awareness, not H8, because I don't like that word.
No,
it really
no,
does
I
not
don't
out
either.
of my mouth, unless I'm going to repeat the line by Razzie Bailey, I hate. Remember, you can catch the jams live on 106.9 FM and RC.cat, and we got another little round of local news to get to in just a bit. We'll be right back.
All right, now here's a little song I want everybody to listen to. It's talking about love and it's talking about hate. You know, I I think the only way we're gonna do away with hate is to get so much love going around till there just won't be any more hate. There's so much hate going on today on the right and on the left. You see, we hate our brothers, yes we do, and we hate our own self. There's even hate going on today between the young folks and the old. Can't you see all this hate is really eating up our very soul? That's why I'm singing now. I hate hate. Everybody listen to me. I hate hate. All sing together now. I hate hate. But good Lord above, don't you know I love love? I really, really love love. All right, I want you to listen to this next little verse, and if you feel like it, sing along. And if you don't want to sing along, maybe you can clap your hands. The good book says to love your enemy, but we don't comprehend. Tell me, how can you love your enemy when you hate your fellow man? You see, love's got the all-time greatest power. You see, love can brighten up your darkest hour. That's why I'm singing now. I hate hate. Everybody singing with me. I hate hate. Let's all get together now. I hate hate. But good Lord above, don't you know I love love? Oh, we got to have love. Got to have love. Love, love. Got to have love. Love, love. All right, now here's a little song I want everybody to listen to. It's talking about love and it's talking about hate. You know, I think the only way we're gonna do away with hate is to get so much love going around till there just won't be any more hate. There's so much hate going on today on the right and on the left. You see, we hate our brothers, yes we do, and we hate our own self. There's even hate going on.
Yeah. We just like how doing things on the down low over here. Because as I am speaking to you, my beautiful people, because we do have a little bit of local news that I'd like to get to because nobody else does it in English the way we do it in English here. But this week, just right now, actually, the Supreme Court is approving laws that would here in Spain and in Spain and Catalonia would actually regulate how many hours would be spent or could be spent working at the weekends. Because apparently what had happened is, or was rather, there have been too many people reporting specifically in the spring, summer, and autumn months when we have so many bloody tourists that are working overtime and making ish a little too real over these seasons. And so this would actually minimize how many people could be working and how many hours they could be working in studios like this one, for example, or specifically bars, restaurants, clubs, and things of that nature. Okay, so that will actually be affecting people soon as this is approved and put into action. Otherwise than that, the EU has just proposed putting the recognition, and this will be voted for at the end of the month, I believe. They have just put in the recognition officiating the possibility of Catalan as a European Union recognized language. Now, I was kind of surprised to tell you, because I did think that Catalan was already registered as an official EU language. Apparently, it's not. And so they will be voting on this. Now, all of this is an effort to complete some of the agreements that were made, or at least it's an attempt to complete some of the agreements that were made with Puigdemont of Junts pel Cat. My favorite person. Now, bilateral. What would Jesus do? You know, he'd multiply that. He'd multiply the bread that his family, apparently who owned bakeries, would make. That's what Jesus would do, right? He multiplies bread. Jesus was a Jew. By the way, remember, my Christians who hate Jews, you're praying to one. Bilateral Spanish and Catalan talks are resuming with a mission to increase the Mosso squads.
Sorry.
Girl, you know they're fine. Some of them are just fine. Shout out my beautiful lady, Sandra Tapiz, mi reina, I love you, and mamacita, and her beautiful husband, Ramses. His name is truly Ramses.
Ramses.
Totally, girl. He's de aquí. But they're going to try to increase this. Shout out to my baby girl, too, because she's just a little barren. She's kiki. But the Mosso squads to 25,000 from roughly, we only have about 19,000 as we're in the 25 to 26 fiscal year. Okay, so that means in the next few years, by 2030, they would have pushed this up to 6,000 more people. Okay, 6,000 more troops. That would be a plethora of all of them, including anti-disturbios, which I guess they're preparing for the dystopian future that we're all walking into. Thanks, China. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
China.
No, it's not China. It's actually the United States of America. Oh. As it has been for a while, I know where I live. Som in Catalonia. Now, Salvador Illa's Socialist Catalan Party has formed a coalition here with Esquerra Común and the CUP hippies to tackle housing issues.
Oh.
And that's why my sister, one of the first things she said actually was that. Now, I have to say, a lot of my social scruples really align with CUP. They really do. I know, it's extreme left, progressive liberal. Yeah, folks. But this would be a huge thing because since the Constitutional Declaration of December 1978, there have been no laws that have stopped the ability of squatters, here known as ocupas, to kind of take over, especially if they're pregnant and you are not getting back into your house, but you have to pay rent on that for them. Now, there have been rectifications in the law that was actually recently enacted, so that's a good thing. They want to make that stronger here, so they're going to be tackling the housing issue. And hopefully, the idea by Salvador Illa is to get 50,000 new residential buildings, homes, things of that nature built for middle class, working class, and student housing.
Good.
Like students who are in their late teens, early 20s can move in and each pay $200 a month.
Good.
And, 2 or 3 living together, stuff like that. Now, folks, I would like for you to know, especially for those parents who are already hitting 50s and 60s and 70s and they still have their 20 and 30-year-old kids at home, there are options for them. If they have one little nomina and are registered in school, they can get flats very cheap. Now, most of them are, around the city or like towards Nou Barris and things of that nature here in Barcelona. But they have that. You can register that in through the Generalitat and also through one of the .es from the government, out of Madrid. You can look that up. So please consider that because you do not have to be in your 70s with your 30-year-old child at home. There are options. And you're the problem, by the way. But just saying, prove me wrong, children.
Go out and fly, little
Prove
darling.
me wrong.
Fly,
That's
fly
how they
free.
do. And I'll throw some money at you. Remember, if you throw money at the problem, it usually goes way, way, way. Now, this also is going into a 200 million euro project that will be increasing the Catalan language presence over time. Because the idea that Catalan governments, and they had to do coalition agreements, of course, to do this. And I wonder if that was with Junts pel Cat. And what they want to do is add 100,000 new speakers of Catalan annually. No indication whether they mean that would be here in Spain or Catalonia in general or internationally. So that's going to be happening. That's going to be another $200 million into that project. One of the people that their daughter's making an album, and we're going to be playing one of the tracks of that album. It's going to be our inspirational track in between segments of the 2 hours later on. But beautiful Ian and Jenny told me that when their son was enrolled here, because he was here playing tennis and is actually in the States now, I believe in a tennis scholarship, he was given the choice, this was just a few years ago, if he wanted to learn at the American school? Spanish or Catalan? And they give him a choice. Are you shocked? Because I was shocked.
There.
Yeah, at the American school here.
Here.
The
Okay.
ASB here.
Spanish or American?
Yeah,
Or English?
Speak American, motherfucker.
Do you want to speak American English?
Y'all want to speak American? But I find that strange, especially because you have a graduating son or graduated son.
Next year?
Yeah, next year. And I mean, there is no option.
There's no option.
It's Catalan, Spanish, and English.
Yeah, but English is so we actually have him in another English program for the certificate. Cambridge, Oxford, Cambridge,
Darling, of course.
Right. I
And
mean,
he,
but
he needs the proficiency.
the level, yes, he does.
Okay.
Because in the public school, it's
And
not.
for this reason, folks, I would like to say that less than 5% of the Spanish population has the proficiency licensing by the European framework through Cambridge. And I think that would behoove many students who are going to an AI world to separate them from the 95 point whatever percent who do not have that here when they have it on a CV. Just saying. Because they can come to all over me. Now, this is a song by James Blake called I'll Come To. To say that again.
Nice segue.
I love it. And then we're going to talk a little bit about art and creation and that good stuff and get away from all of this heavy news. But nobody serves it up to you like we do with love. A veritable cornucopia of love, children. And this is something also chosen by my queen. Why'd you choose this one?
I don't know. I love James Blake, and
he's
got such a
badass.
beautiful depth. Yeah, he is. He's very,
honestly.
he's tapped in, and I love it. And I love this song. I don't know. There's something very special about it. So.
And so we're going to play it here. This is what we do. And you can catch the gems live all over Catalonia at 106.9 FM and everywhere at rce.cat. I'll Come To by James Blake. And I'll come too. And so you.
I'm gonna say what I need. If it's the last thing I do, I do, I do, I do. I'm in that kind of mood. I throw my hat in the ring. I've got nothing to lose. With you, with you, with you. I'm in that kind of mood. I'll go under your wing. I'll slide right in between the cracks between you and him. I don't wanna go home. Shall we drive from zone to zone? I wouldn't do this on my own, but I'm not on my own tonight. Oh, you're going to New York. I'm going there. Why don't I come with you? Oh, you've changed to LA. I'm going there. I could go there too. I'm gonna say what I need. If it's the last thing I do, I do, I do, I do. I'm in that kind of mood. I throw my hat in the ring. I've got nothing to lose. With you, with you, with you. I'm in that kind of mood. I'll go under your wing. I'll slide right in between the cracks between you and him. I don't wanna go home. Shall we drive from zone to zone? I wouldn't do this on my own, but I'm not on my own tonight. Oh, you're going to the brink. I'm going there. Why don't I come with you? You don't care what they think. I'm getting there. I could get there too. I'm gonna say what I need. If it's the last thing I do, I do.
Pump, pump, pump it up. And that was James Blake. And you're back with here. You're back with here.
You're
and
back
here's
with
a
here
lovely
now.
person. But here is actually the RCE studios with the Club with Lucas here on 106.9 FM. And my beautiful lady, Queen co-host today. Thank you for being here, Nikol Kollars.
Thank you for having me.
Can we talk a little bit about some stuff you've been working on, please? Some reworking and some editing you've been doing. Because last year you launched a sold-out show wherever it was. And she also performed at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival with her one-woman standout show directed by Javier Galito Cava. Got that right.
Well
Chimpiotes, man. I have a lot of names in my head.
Yes,
Excuse
you
me.
do.
And one of the things that I noticed is the 2 times that I saw it, or was it thrice? It's a tearjerker, but it also makes you, take a little tickle in your pants, love. And because it is funny, it's hilarious. Now, when you are reworking something as someone who is forever editing 2 pieces right now, how do you stop yourself from going over the edge of not necessarily glory?
You mean
I edit and edit and edit.
I know,
and
I
edit,
know.
And then
for me it's hard to finish something, to release it out there. So being that I'm the writer, I still now, it's been a while since I performed Fickle Eulogy, but now all these subtle things are coming up subconsciously, ideas that I could change and parts of the characters that want to say more. So I'm like listening, going, oh man, what am I going to do? I wish I just created a new character and like that character has its own little show. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to be as open as possible and then try to make the decision of little tweaking here and there. Otherwise I'll go crazy. So yeah, it's there's no end result. It's always changing.
this, after Semana Santa, you're usually starting through Semana Santa up until October is when I get a lot of my writing done. Because I work so much, so many hours in different things. And so sometimes it's just not able to, except late at night. And I have these 2 projects lined up. You can see them right there.
I want to see.
And it's not writer's block, it is editor's block. And it's such a thing because I always have something to say, stream, But when you, all right, this is a stupid question. I'm revealing a little bit about myself. But
Please
do you ever get
tell.
into panic mode?
What are you panicking
Not like
about?
a really panic mode, but that I'm not going to be able to say everything that I need to say in the time crunch that I have to because one of these things that I'm working on is a script.
Okay.
Like a teleplay.
Great.
And so
Yeah.
how do you scratch that? And then
Everything
the
that you
editing.
want to say, I think you'll always have more to say. So
An extra season.
exactly, or something else. Like, I don't know, some monologue that you've been talking about doing as well. So that's where you have to go. Listen, this is what this is going to be, and I say it so much, but like I just said, my one woman play wants to say more because there's a lot more going on in the world now since I wrote it. What do you mean?
We just went through a lot of that.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about the original Fickle Eulogy is I saw it and then edited, or there's an amendment to it.
Sure.
You really did dive into the Trumpology of the situation of not just that country, but now the world as
Right.
we're experiencing it with these tariffs and whatnot.
That's why there's all these new voices coming up saying you could say this, you could say that, you could expand this character, you could have this character say even like more, like just get into that just insanity and the
Could it
frustration.
be a serial where Fickle Eulogy has like every 6 months a new addition to it?
That's a good idea.
Just out of curiosity to work it maybe in the studio. I'm sure the DC Institute would love that.
Yeah, actually, what I've been thinking about is actually having interviews, like people can come and they can interview these characters and say, so, like live in the world of these characters.
I
I
am
just
not
said
mad
it.
with that.
I can't believe I just said that.
Okay. In that essence, then, not just Fickle, but anything that we're working on when we're writing at, and maybe anything that we're working on in general, for those of you who aren't necessarily creatives, do you have to take it then from different angles and asking different questions? Like, do you start with why with some of the things that you write?
No.
Like, why am I doing this? Why am I thinking about this?
No.
Okay.
Because that's the critic going, nah.
Or could it not be the inner self, to quote Madonna, the life not examined is not worth living. Well, I'm sure she paraphrased that from somebody else. But you gotta shout the queen. But when we start with why, we start to not necessarily manifest, but answer ourselves and then get to work, I think is one way. Like, why am I doing this? Because I want to say this, so I have to say it.
That could work for
Okay, but the critic, I got that, and I
some
hadn't really thought of
people.
that.
Yeah, because that reminds me of, for example, that reminds me of someone who wants to write a pop song, a hit song.
Mm.
That's the why. It's like, just write a song that comes from your gut
Mm-hmm.
and from your heart and from your rawness,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you'll know why, right? The why will go, oh, that's why.
Maybe I question too much. Let me stop saying we. Let me start saying I.
I think we all
I don't have
do.
multiple personalities. What are you saying? I don't have inner voices. That's from the Brady Bunch movie.
The why is always because it needs to come from you. It needs to come out. That's the why.
Exactly. And I mean, the coming out is the thing out. And in fact, one of the next songs actually has the word out in it as well. But we'll get to that in a minute. If you are working on a project, if it's your own personal stuff that you're writing, a commercial you're shooting, a movie that you're doing for Amazon or whatever, or making music, out of those four, what is something that you would most vibe with? What gives you the oomph more of those four different things that you do?
I get asked that all the time. It depends on where I'm at in my
moment.
life.
Okay.
You know, I love it all.
Okay.
I love all of the mediums of expression and the different processes of creativity, and the being doing it alone is very, like writing alone is very intense, and it's solitary, and it's lovely, it's exciting. It can be also really nerve-wracking and lonely, and but then you share with people, and don't ask me to choose. I can't choose. I can't because when I'm in something for theater, for example, I'm in theater, I'm in doing Fickle Eulogy, I'm doing my show, and then I look over and go, oh, I miss performing live, singing live on a stage with a band. And then I'm singing live on stage with a band. Then I look over and go, oh, I miss being on a movie set. And then I'm on a movie set going, oh, I wish
So there's a gratitude then. There has to be, because you can do it all. She's a quintuple threat, children.
I think I get bored easily. I don't know. I love it all. I just love all the creative
What
arts.
age did you know? And do you paint or anything like that?
I wish.
Okay, all right. I can
I'm
draw,
so glad
maybe
I
paint,
don't,
so.
because then I'd be like, I'm painting now.
Hey, Sharon Stone started in her 60s recently.
Yeah, Jim Carrey did as well, right?
Really?
Yes.
He came up again. Shout out to the people who were talking about Jim Carrey last night. Who was it? Ian. It was you, dude. Yes.
He's quite special, that person.
He is.
Oof. Very interesting, huh? Because he is one that went. Have you seen Tropic Thunder?
Oh my God.
He's the one that went right. He went hard, and
Isn't
he
Ben
went.
Stiller in that one too?
Oh God, I love that movie. It's so funny. They can't do that now, but
No.
man, it's
Well,
a good
they could,
movie.
but they'd have to tweak a few things.
Or they would anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Riots on the streets.
But that's another thing too. Can we do a sidestep just because you said that? Have we become too annoyingly politically correct?
Oh God, yes.
Okay, because you remember growing up in the 90s, the being PC was a thing
Well,
when
I
you
was
were
kind
kids.
of already going to like college and stuff in the 90s, so.
Well, and towards the end, I was definitely enrolled in university, but I am 84 years old. But there was an element where the PC was there, the PC police. I remember that by the end of high school in the
They
late
took Christmas trees out of the malls, that kind of thing, yeah.
Do we take it too far? Like, you work in comedy sometimes as well. You've actually recently, in the last couple of years, started getting your feet wet in stand-up. So you work with some of the kids in the clubhouses and stuff like that here in comedy.
Yeah. People should be able to.
Comedy's is a way, not only just the self-expression,
zone.
but it's a way and just getting it out. Now, to what point, though, do we become a xenophobic piece of shit, racist mother? And, like, that's the kind of stuff that I don't
Yeah,
want to get
that's why I
into.
love Louis C.K.
Really?
Because he just rides that fine line. And he doesn't necessarily say something. He implies it and lets us react to it, and people, whoa,
He did get a bad rap for some things that went down.
Well,
He has made his amends, and I went to see Michelle Wolf thrice recently, and she did say that out, and the forgiveness factor. And
Oh man, we got to do that. And we got to go back in the minute. But yes.
and this becomes a thing. Like, can you? Oh, man, we're just creating other questions. Though.
Yes, I know.
Do you separate the art from the artist?
We have talked about that before, and you asked me, and I said yes. I still listen to Michael Jackson.
See, I can't.
Pre
Up to
bad.
Yeah, up to bad. I
Bad.
do. That's right.
But there are other artists that I will not support.
Yeah. No. Like
Because-
one of them's on in trial right now. Child, we didn't even talk about that.
You mean High Hitler? I'm sorry, I said that.
You're talking about Kanye?
Kanye.
I'm talking about Puff Daddy.
Oh. Wait, we got to go back. We got to go back because
Yes,
we were talking about
gotta
something.
go
Are we
back.
become too sensitive? And yes,
To the PC police.
absolutely. People should, especially when you go to a stand-up comedy show. Anything should go. There are people get really offended and like,
Oh
then
my
don't
God.
come to.
Or grossed out. Sarah
don't-
Millican the other day. Sarah Millican, you just turned it out, sister. I'm gonna have to tag you on something because
Sarah Millican.
oh my God, out
What?
of the UK, and she was. I have never heard such perfectly timed droppings of mic moments. Speaking of a female period.
Well, can you send it to me or I'll just remember?
Oh,
well,
yes, I can
it's
clip
filmed
it
now,
and
right?
send. Yes, I can clip it and send. It was a beautiful show right over here at the Comedia or
Yeah.
the one, the Coliseum.
Yeah. So going back to I've become really sensitive.
Yeah.
You know what I think it is? Okay, this is an interesting thing. Go with me. I think you got it. I think you'll get it right away. So yesterday I walk every afternoon, mostly every afternoon along the beach because I live close to it. Yes, I'm privileged. I'm grateful, thankful.
yeah.
Yes, and they now have the chiringuitos on the beach, and therefore there are bathrooms on the beach that are open for the public. Right. So I go to the bathroom, and I there's this huge chunk of wood that's gone from the floor, right in front of one of the doors to the bathroom, and I think someone could easily step in that, break their ankle, whatever. That. In the States, you're going to be sued.
Yeah,
right?
that's a lawsuit
In
waiting to
Spain,
happen.
that's just like, wait a few days, a few weeks.
Put
it'll
a
be
cone
fixed
over
up. So, I mean, that's something that I've really enjoyed observing since I've been here for 24 years, coming from the States, where people were like, "My coffee's too hot. You have to pay me money because I burnt myself." It's like, what? And I have to admit, though, a family member was very much that person. Like we go to the restaurant and that person would say, "Oh, this is too cold," and they would send it back. You know, that kind of stuff. That's just. I think that created this whole bit of like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and oh, you can't say that because I'm too sensitive, and it just kind of like expanded to this whole big thing about being too sensitive
And
and not being strong.
there is, I feel, especially if you grow up in the middle to upper classes, there is this element of self-entitlement, almost narcissistically interwoven into, well, I'm from the United States, so like what I say is right.
Oh yeah, you see that here for sure.
Ooh, child.
Oh, it's
And it's
ooh.
in many pockets of this kind of pervasive social narcotic that's passed along for too long, I would say. There are a couple of questions I need to get to. I'm supposed to throw one more song out before we get to that. Do you mind if we do that? It's a really short one, and then we'll come right back. Talk to me. Did you have something to add?
No, I'm just saying I'm your Ed McMahon. So you just
She's my Edwina McMahon.
so you just
All right.
do what you need to do.
Cheering on the corn, we're going to throw on a little 3-minute ditty. This is a new track that was just released a couple of weeks ago by a new outfit called Yat, but he's actually being produced doing this with a gentleman named David Hale. Yat spelled Y-A-T-T-E. I really just dig it. Let's get out, because we're going to have to as we make way for Sassy the Band coming up in just the next hour. And a little bit more with Nikol. We'll be right back in just a second.
Something missing in
Did you feel that 80s vibe? Because I know I did. All right, folks. We are going to be we're going to have to be closing up shop in just a little bit. Now, if you're watching with your peepholes on YouTube, this one will be closing out and going into, thanks to the gods, back to RCE 106.9 FM. On YouTube, we're going to be starting another show because one of the latest, and I'm calling them eclectic clash bands.
Cool.
Named Sassy, produced by my little sister, another sister from another mister, Daniela Fox Productions. Danielle Foster.
Is she here?
She might show up, I don't know. But the band is here because they're doing an acoustic set at Generator on Calle Córcega on Tuesday at 7 o'clock or 8. We're going to get the specifics. I just forgot because I'm doing another show as well. So, Children of the Corn, we've got that coming up. But I need to ask you one other thing. And I think it's a cheesy one that I don't recall if we've gotten to before in years past in an interview.
Cheese me.
But you've got a kid that's going to be graduating soon. Mm-hmm. What advice would you tell him or her if they were, if you were that age, 15, 16, and prepping for your life?
What advice?
Mm-hmm. Now that you can look back through your 20s and 30s and think,
I think he's kind of figured that out because
he's got a good mama and
he's
daddy.
been very vocal. What's great because he says, I feel the pressure to decide what I want to do for the rest of my life because you have to choose which you want to study, right? So I said, well, just follow that what you're attracted to, and just know that throughout your life there are going to be many changes. So also find ways to enjoy your life, and I think he's really following that just instinctively. But what I would say now is that the future is going to be so very different than what we have right now because of AI, because of who knows where our human existence is going to be. Yeah. But I'm almost going to like decades ago. Like you should probably just learn the basics. Like learn how to cultivate your own food, find water. Ooh. I think water is the future. I think you need to really know where to tap into those sources, how to filter it, how to find it, how to survive. I think it's survival mode. I hate to say it.
No. Say it because it's true. And I don't think parents are necessarily ready for that. A lot of parents are ready to let go of their kids. At least I see here. I think maybe it's a little easier for certain American families to do that.
Right.
But here in Spain and Catalonia, I've seen that it is very difficult. It's almost like an invisible umbilical cord, I say.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's
I can see that. I'm witness to that. I have friends who were in their home until 30s, and you can see that. But no, my son, I think he's kind of seeing a lot of it. There's that. Just this generation knows a lot more than we do. It's kind of weird.
In which way, please, before we close out, because I'm curious.
I'm not sure. It's like as if they can see all of what we have created, and they're going, you know what? But then on the other hand, I think they're very much living in a very digital age that is distracting. So I'm not. It's me right now. Excuse me. Yeah. You're like doing 3 things at once. That's okay. Yeah.
But that digital age, the only thing is that I think the difference is someone who has to deal with universitarians who use ChatGPT for everything and things like that.
Yeah.
Is that we already passed, we've hit 39 and we've been able to establish our lives concretely in an analog and digital realm.
Right.
Whereas their only realm has been digital. And that does freak me out.
Yes, because the digital can be the downfall. Like, I mean, it could, like, for example, when we lost our power last Monday, all the things that we're reliant on with energy, with electricity,
water.
That's what I mean. It's like this can potentially be taken all away from us. Everything. So cultivating your own food, knowing how to, get fresh water, defend yourself, the basics. That's where I'm thinking, and I hate to say it. No. Anyway,
we're
sorry.
We're gonna start light seeding everybody like that video from Kate Bush. Do you remember that video with cloud busting? I think it was. Anyway, folks, thank you so much, Lady Nikol, for being here. Thank you for sharing some of this energy. We had so much to get through, and as always, we've had that's the phrase of the day, veritable cornucopia of that. Folks, please stay tuned. We got another hour of beauty and local. I call them the Eclectic Clash band of this year. The band is called Sassy. You can also find them on Instagram and everywhere where good music is streamed as well, like on Spotify and places of that nature. Although Spotify, you need to do better by us. And folks, this is someone who's actually working on her new record. It's her first record. She's a very young queen, and I met her parents yesterday at a beautiful rooftop, and they are by country because they're between here and the UK. And so this is a shout out to Lady Ginny and Sir Ian and their beautiful daughter. This is her first single. It's called No One Knows, and this is Olivia Bogle. And folks, you can only catch the jams live here on 106.9 FM. Listen to the lyrics of this song. It's a beautiful, beautiful track to talk about what we're doing, and young people are actually creating art.
Yes.
This is one of them. Shout out Lady Olivia Bogle and the family, and we'll be right back with Sassy the Band in about approximately 7 to 8 minutes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have you ever felt alone when you walk into